It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag Utah Jazz.
Trying to get free on Chris Dunn. Dunn's all over to Joe for three. Watch him, Ron. Watch him. Oh, it hit a little rim. He said if he gets an all-netter tonight, he's giving you a signal.
Give me this, huh?
Joe Ingles for three. Joe's been shooting it really well. So have the Magic. Jazz have trailed most of the night. They've battled back as Keontae. Hard drive. Kick to the corner. Sexton. Rotate to Markkanen. Three ball rattles home, and the Jazz lead by three, 68-65. Jazz down three, 97-94, 6:20 to play. Clarkson with his white headband, flares it right side to Keontae. Jabs left, goes right, gets the baseline, flares to Hendricks for three, it's good! The rookie-to-rookie combo. Keontae with the assist, Hendricks with the three, and we're tied. Cross-court skip pass, Suggs again! Jalen Suggs with three clutch threes in the final 5 minutes.
Thought the second half we adjusted defensively as a group, did a much better job protecting the paint. They only had 22 paint points in the second half, and we put ourselves in a position to win the game. That's where we want to be. 2 minutes left, 1 point game.
There's Will Hardy after the Utah Jazz lose in Orlando, 115-107. I refer to that as my Patrick Kinahan game. You got so many things you wanted in that game, PK. Joe Ingles, 5 points, 2 assists, 14 minutes. He's a role guy, played well in his role. You said, Suggs, that was my guy coming out of Gonzaga. I thought he'd be a lot better than this. Well, who had 3 straight three-pointers in the last 3 minutes to take that 1 point game Will Hardy was talking about and blow it wide open? It was Suggs. And you wanted your Utah Jazz to at least compete. You understand they're not good enough to win. Well, there it was. Taylor Hendricks hitting a three to tie the game with 6 minutes left. The rookies are playing, and the game is tied in the middle of the fourth quarter. And as Will says, a 1 point game. That was what you wanted. You got it on multiple fronts.
On behalf of the people along the Wasatch Front and all along the Intermountain West, I apologize for calling out Suggs because he obviously heard me.
Clearly. You did that. You might as well have been sitting next to Suds in the old days at midcourt, heckling Mitch Richmond, whoever, coming through and having them look up at you and I'm going to go out and hit 20 shots.
Yeah, he was wide open. And NBA players who are offensively proficient enough, which is most of them, particularly wing players, obviously.
Offensively inclined. Go with offensively inclined.
If they are wide open, it's going down. I mean, their percentages on a complete and total wide open three and that one he had over in the right corner, obviously it was like a putt. He could have lined it up. He could have gone to the other side of the basket to check the break and come back and still made that shot. Yeah. And so, the last, what was it, when they play? Was it Tuesday? I mean, Wednesday, I cracked at them hard for not competing. Well, they competed. They're not good enough. They're just not good enough, right? They're, what 7 out of 8?
Yep.
The one thing I would say on your the rookies played, and I'm going to ask Locke this here in an hour and a half, is it time to let Hendricks close? Because you're going to lose anyway. So what are you losing? And Clarkson, he just hasn't been, since the trades, he hasn't been what he was. And do you need him in there? He's not going to be on your team in the future. I wouldn't think as soon as October.
2 of 10 for him shooting the ball. Another bad shooting night. He was 2 of 10 in Atlanta. He was 2 of 10 in Orlando. It's been a struggle.
Yeah.
He's shooting 36% for the month.
Well, wait a minute. Did it? Yeah. Well, it's
for the
done.
month of February.
He
shot it. You're right. Today's March 1st. He shot 36% in the month of February. And I get your point. I agree with you. I think he's going to get traded sooner, not later. They're trading everybody else in his age group and guys even a little younger than him. So why wouldn't they trade him as well? And get something back they were young.
I had heard that they were trying to trade me because I'm not in their future.
Jazz wrap up the road trip in Miami, and then it'll be back home for that rare winnable game with the Washington Wizards to kick off next week. But they get the weekend in Miami. So, there's that.
Well, yeah, that's why Jay-Z and Ainge and Smith, they were all there.
Hey, this is the trip. You're going to Florida, man. Atlanta,
They didn't
Orlando,
go
Miami.
on the Cleveland, Milwaukee,
Detroit,
Chicago
Indiana,
trip.
Milwaukee, Chicago. Forget that.
I mean, maybe they did. I don't remember. But
That's an afternoon game with the Heat tomorrow. Tip-off is at 3 o'clock. Pre-game begins at 2 o'clock on the Zone. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NBA.
I want to be on the floor as much as possible. I only have about 20 years to do this. Any chances that I get, I want to be on the floor. So it doesn't matter where we are, 4, 5, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It doesn't really matter where we are. Just want to play as much as we can and, try to help us.
Screen by Wemby for Jones. Straight away, Wemby's got the ball left of the key. Hands to Vassell, pulls up off to the left wing. Wembanyama for three. That's the Wemby try.
Nurkic in the paint. Out to O'Neal. They play catch to Durant. Now back to O'Neal for three. Yes, sir. Royce O'Neal hits the three, his third of the night.
Highlights around the NBA and Joel Embiid talking about his desire to return and play. He had knee surgery, left meniscus injury, had that repaired. But when he's cleared, he wants to go. He doesn't want to just sit out the season. And he said whatever place they're in, well, that's because they're in fifth now, but they're a game out of fourth and a half a game out of eighth. So they could be anywhere in that mix. A pretty big break beyond that. So what would you do? Would you save Embiid for a year or figure, what the heck? There aren't that many chances.
He said what I've always believed. That players, as you get a little older, time's running out, man. Just look at life. When you got less time, you want to make that time more valuable because you don't have as much, right? And time matters. Well, in the form of a professional athlete, he said 20 years. That's stretching it. Now,
For an NBA player, it is.
Yeah, right. But you have a finite amount of time, and you're playing a game. And you can go down to any local Y, any local whatever, and you're going to see guys playing today because it's fun. They get out there, get a little exercise, and play ball. It's what you've been doing probably, if you're into it as a boy or a girl, since you were 5 years old. And why wouldn't you want to play? But that's what I've always believed, that guys understand that. Ladies, they get that too, that you only got a short span of time here. And as you start looking at 30 staring you in the face, you realize that. So if he's cleared, yeah, play.
30 staring him in the face 2 weeks from tomorrow. He turns 30. So it's go time.
Yeah.
Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs beat Holmgren and the Thunder 132-118. Wemby, 28 points, 13 rebounds, 5 blocks, 5 of 7 from 3. They're not good now, PK, but you see these games once in a while and you think, well, right, the Spurs are going to have a high pick. They got the third worst record in the NBA right now, so we'll see what happens in the lottery, but they're going to have a high pick. Add a couple more guys, and they should be on their way.
Yeah, and even if they don't, which they will, he's going to be even better, and he's just going to be a dominant player for a good long while. The great thing about the Spurs being able to beat the Thunder is that makes, since the trade, the Jazz only win, that's now a quad 2 win.
Nice. Lakers needed OT, but Anthony Davis goes for 40 points and 15 boards, and the Lakers beat the lowly Wizards, give them their 50th loss of the year, 134-131. Mr. I Hate the Lakers, David Locke, will join us at 8 o'clock. If you hate the Lakers, well, bad day. What are you going to do? The Warriors keep winning. Have they figured something out? If they turned a corner, at what point is this the real deal? I mean, you look at the 10th place legit. Warriors, and you think
it's legit.
It's legit. This is it.
Yeah.
They're
10-2 in their last 12.
Yeah. 12-3 and 15. The numbers keep adding up. This is a big run for them.
They made the adjustment with Thompson coming off the bench,
and it's working
now. Developed himself into a player, so yeah, they're legit. I don't know that they're legit. They're going to win it all, but they're a legit good team.
Beal's hamstring continues to keep him out. I just read a story. He's on target to play his recent average of 40 games per season. And the Suns win without him. They beat the Rockets 110-105. Devin Booker went for 35 points and 7 boards. You think the hamstring will magically heal for the playoffs? Under the theory, you don't get to do this forever, and Bradley Beal certainly feels the clock ticking.
Well, I do know that they're calling him CP4 in the desert.
Are they really? Or you just made that up?
Heard all the time.
You just
No,
heard.
I just made that up.
Okay. Well, someone should be calling him CP4. That's decent. I like it. For going on the fly, what the heck? You did well there.
It literally just came to me.
The Jazz play the Miami Heat tomorrow. The Heat lost last night. They were in Denver and got beat 103-97. Michael Porter Jr. had 30 points and 11 boards. He went off. Denver wins. The Heat will fly cross country today and play the Jazz at home tomorrow afternoon. DJ and PK.
#NFL.
I have full faith in Kenny. He's shown us some good things, and obviously there were some issues with the offense, and I'm excited about the impact that Arthur Smith's going to have on him. And Arthur's very optimistic about Kenny, and I know they've communicated, and like I said, we'll have some strong competition there, and we'll see where it goes.
I would hope whoever we draft, that's the route we go. If that's who the starter becomes, and if again, I would go back if it's Aiden or if it's somebody we draft or we bring in. You don't want to put a Band-Aid at that position. That's old, man. That's old. I think the Raiders, we've seen that enough in this organization. And I know we had Derek Carter for a bunch of years, but before him and after him, it's been a bunch of one-stop guys.
That's Antonio Pierce, Raiders quarterback, doesn't want a Band-Aid at quarterback. Well, nobody does, so that's solid. No one's going to argue that with him, I wouldn't think. But who will it be? Who is the guy? And as a coach, you don't get along, so you better find him pretty quickly.
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure.
I know, right?
Do that this year, or maybe Aiden will develop. Who's to say? There's been stranger stories than that.
Steelers general manager Omar Khan said he has full faith. That's a quote. He has full faith in quarterback Kenny Pickett. Khan mentioned that Pickett has shown some good things and that there were problems with last year's offense. So don't put it all on the QB. We can get the young guys straightened out. No worries. I think there's plenty of worries in Pittsburgh. They had a pretty good team, but the offense was lacking and the quarterback play was spotty at best. Vikings. Go ahead.
Did he say no worries, or did you say it?
He says he has full faith.
Right.
So if you have full faith, you have no worries. If you have full faith.
Is that true?
I don't think you have any worries when you have full faith.
So you know without a shadow of a doubt that you're going to heaven.
I didn't say I had full faith in that. But when you say you have full faith.
Yeah, but you also have to clean up other areas and improve other areas of the team. I mean, haven't we gotten past that the quarterback is 95% of the winning? Didn't Stafford prove that?
Yeah, I think it's about 70% of the winning. We'll go there. You're right, it's not 95. Could the Steelers be better at tight end? Could they be better at wide receiver? Yeah, there's other things to fix. Vikings are cutting running back Alexander Mattison. He failed to hold the starting job following the departure of Dalvin Cook, so he's out the door. And this is one of the reasons running backs don't get paid. They figure they'll find somebody. NFL Combine continues today in Indianapolis. Defensive backs, tight ends. Tomorrow it's quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers. So on they go in Indy. DJ and PK.
#college basketball.
The Utah men and women win blowouts at the Huntsman Center. Women won in the afternoon over Washington State, 82-67. They were up 15 points after one quarter. And the men, 90-68 over Stanford. They similarly took a big lead early. Got a triple-double from Davon Smith. 13 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, and they rolled to their 17th win.
We thought both those things would happen.
And we think they'll both win tomorrow when they have another doubleheader. Noon, the women play Washington, and the men have Cal at 7, and that ought to be 2 more victories. Although Cal ought to put up a little more resistance than Stanford.
That'll be it for the women. They'll head to Vegas then.
Yep.
That's the
end of their regular season.
They
go a week early.
Tournament in Vegas for the ladies go a week early. Starts, I think, the 6th.
Dylan Jones went off. We have talked about him throughout the year. He's clearly an NBA draft pick. And, man, did he take it to Northern Colorado. 30 points, 23 rebounds, 9 assists. They had the lead with 4 minutes to go. They blew it. Northern Colorado went on and took the lead, and Weber State scored 6 straight points in the last 30 seconds to get to OT. They got down on OT, and they finished on a 12-2 run in OT to win the game, 85-81. And Jones was spectacular.
Yeah, he didn't have a good shooting night. Was he 9 of 23?
9 of 23.
But he lit up the scoreboard and 23 boards. Now, the Big Sky is not going to have a ton of big players. But for him at his size, and we've talked about him all season.
BYU hosts TCU tomorrow, 7 o'clock. The Cougars trying to keep it rolling, coming off the big win over Kansas. You believe in a momentum, PK? Yeah. And plus BYU at home, they've been pretty good.
Yeah, otherwise that's what I was going to say. If they were in Fort Worth, the game would clearly be tougher. But they are at home. The place is going to go berserko, and for them at home, coming off this big win, and the good thing about it is they have the maximum amount of rest you can get between games because the Big 12 plays on Tuesdays. Not every team plays on Tuesdays, but that was a Tuesday game, so you've got a full 3 days to you can enjoy it on the ride home after the game that night and the next day, and if you should get up on campus, people patting you on the back. But you've had enough time to get past it. It's nice. It's great. Whatever you want to say, sure. But you got to do this one. And TCU is a really good team. TCU, in my mind, there's no question that they're a tournament team. I think they are. I mean, you hang your hat on beating Houston. So you're going to need to play well. I suspect they will play well. I think both teams here that had big wins this week, Utah State and BYU, will be in. And I got to tell you, since you assigned me the task, I watched about 90% of that Gonzaga game last night so I can get a little more informed. And I believe they should be in the tournament, even though they got their 12, I think it's 11 consecutive West Coast Conference regular season titles were snapped. St. Mary's is going to win it outright because they hammered Pepperdine. But I still think Gonzaga should be in.
One thing on that BYU-TCU game, 100% co-signed TCU's attorney team. Like BYU, they're 8-7 in conference. Like you said, they've got the marquee win. They're 19-9, which is only 1 game worse than BYU's 20-8. And if you are into going to the conference tournament and curious about how this is all going to match up, no idea with 3 games to go. BYU and TCU are both 1 game out of 3rd place and 1 game out of 10th place. So how you finish these last 3 games is everything, including whether you even play the first day or possibly even the second day and get a double bye. So all that stuff hangs in the balance.
It's important for BYU to win this game and then win next week to close it out against Oklahoma State and just maybe find a way to show well at Iowa State.
There's a chance that there will be just a whole dog pile of teams right at 9-9 in the conference and some massive tie in the middle of that league. Just as in the Pac-12, there's a chance that there could be a massive tie of teams at 10-10. They're looking at the same kind of deal between 4th place and 9th place. There's not much separation there in the middle of that league either. So
yeah, and the top 4 get a bye in the Pac-12.
I think Colorado will hold on to 4. I mean, it's possible the wheels come off, but they've got Oregon State and Stanford, so Colorado should lock down one of those. The last
Colorado,
of those
if
top
healthy,
4s.
can be playing Saturday. No doubt in my mind they're good enough to win.
By
it.
Saturday, you mean in the conference title game?
A week, not a week from tomorrow. A couple of
2
weeks
weeks,
from tomorrow.
right? All right, DJ PK coming up. Pablo Mastroeni is going to join us, RSL head coach, at 8:30. We got tickets to give away to see RSL play LAFC Saturday in what should be a weather-challenged game, judging by the storm that's blowing in this weekend. And David Locke, radio voice of the Jazz, will be here at 8 o'clock. The question of the day is next, right here on The Zone.